It's a big week for the AFC North. There's two really interesting matchups. One of them we're going to have to wait till Monday night. But Browns at Steelers is certainly worth talking about after what happened last week. For me, along with Rams and Seahawks, Browns and Steelers is the game that's dealing with the biggest expectation flip, like the biggest freak out about, oh my God, maybe we were wrong about these teams. Rams look amazing against Seattle. Seattle now everybody feels terrible about. It's the same thing here. The Browns basically blank the Bengals 24-3, kicked the snot out of them. Come out of nowhere. Team that nobody's really talking about all of a sudden looks really good against one of the AFC favorites. Opposite for the Steelers, obviously. Preseason darlings, undefeated in the preseason. Kenny Pickett is the next big thing. Just wiped off the field in Pittsburgh by San Francisco, 30-7. Steelers are writing thank you notes to the Giants for making people forget about how bad they got their butts beat. But we know week one can be a bit of a mirage. Like, we know expectations get subverted all the time. It's Mike Tomlin. It's the Pittsburgh Steelers playing a home game, by the way. They don't perform poorly at home, evidenced by the fact that this 23-point loss to the 49ers is the worst in team history. So it's very fair to expect Pittsburgh to bounce back. At the same time, what an opportunity for Cleveland. You realize this. I know there was a brief period of time where the Browns didn't exist, but even still, if the Browns win this game, they'll be 2-0 for the first time since 1993. So that's the type of excitement that's going on in Cleveland. Only 8 guys on the Browns roster were even alive in 1993. That makes me feel old. Fortunately for Pittsburgh, I'm going to step out on a limb. I'm going to say it. There's no way they can look as bad as they did Sunday against San Francisco. That is a prime example of your team falling apart while the Niners are clicking on all cylinders. I know everything I just said about the Browns pass rush, about the Browns defense is still true, but even still, with a week to review your, self-scout your own tape, work on what fell apart, I trust the Steelers to get it going in the right direction. Definitely not saying that it's going to work. I'm concerned about this Pittsburgh offense. First of all, Deontay Johnson, their number one wide receiver, is dealing with a hamstring issue. We'll see if he plays. Unfortunately, it's a Monday game, so over the weekend, keep an eye on that injury report. If you've got him in fantasy, keep a close eye on what's coming out of Pittsburgh. We'll see if he's able to go. If he's not, this is not a receiver core that inspires a lot of confidence. George Pickens and Allen Robinson potentially being asked to do a lot of heavy lifting against the talented secondary. And on top of that, I feel like Matt Canada's offense is so reliant on at least the threat of the run working that it's going to make life difficult on Kenny Pickett if it's not. Now, Najee Harris did play well during the part of that game that was competitive. 5.2 yards a carry on the short amount of carries that he got because the game got out of hand really quickly. But this Browns defense, again, the Browns were 2 in run stuff win rate. They were the second best defense in the league last week at stuffing the run, at stopping the Bengals from running the ball. The Steelers were 31st. The Steelers got whipped in the trenches last weekend, and the Browns absolutely are capable of doing that to them as well. Something to watch on the flip side. Again, I feel like if this sounds really doom and gloom for you Steelers fans, I think the most interesting matchup of this game works in the Steelers' favor in a big way. If you didn't hear, Jack Conklin, the right tackle in Cleveland, out for the year with an ACL. Unfortunately, he got hurt in week 1. Down for the season. His replacement, DeJuan Jones, one of the most massive players in the NFL, the rookie out of Ohio State, 4th round pick, 6'8", 374. You're gonna know who he is on the field. Just look at the huddle. You're gonna say, oh, that's DeJuan Jones, the guy that's towering over even all of the other NFL players. He gets his first career start. And you know who he's likely to see a lot of? Guy by the name of TJ Watt. So that is a matchup that can wildly swing this in Pittsburgh's favor. you can imagine a strip sack or a bull rush that blows a play up, just absolutely derails the Browns' plans. All of that said, I trust more about what the Browns are than the Steelers. Cam Hayward for Pittsburgh on IR already as well. It seems like so many good players have already been lost for the year. It's a real bummer. It's a right of September. I get it. It still sucks. But I trust more about what the Browns are. I like their defense a lot. I don't know what to make of Deshaun Watson. We'll see. Maybe the conditions will be more favorable on Monday night than they were last week. But we know the Browns can run the ball. We know their defense is ferocious. I trust that a little bit more than what we saw from the Pittsburgh offense, at least so far. I know it's 1 week. That's been a theme for the show. But watching what Pittsburgh put together against the talented defense doesn't make me feel good that they'll have more success against a similarly talented defense. So I got the Browns. It is a division game. I think it's close. I'm calling it 21-17, but I'm calling the Browns to be 2-0 for the first time since 1993, which sounds crazy to even say out loud.